Good day everyone, thank you for joining us. Now, we're going to discuss the basic blocks and the technology of e-commerce. Now, when you say basic blocks, these are the foundations of e-commerce system. And on the other hand, the technology of e-commerce are the website or apps used or related to e-commerce. Now, in setting up an e-commerce business, there are 4 basic blocks to follow. First is to know the business. In order to know the business, we need to identify what is the unique selling point of the business in order for the business to stand out. Next is shop front success. This is where you are going to create a website or system that can be used where customer can easily find what they're looking for. Now, not only this is needed, but also you can benefit from it. This can keep and interact potential customers. That's why having a website or a system is important in setting up your e-commerce business. Next is stand out. Stand out is basically self-explanatory. When you say stand out, you need to stand out amongst your competitors. You need to expand your social media presence in order for you to be able to compete amongst your competitors. And lastly, do not forget the bottom line. So when you say do not forget the bottom line, the e-commerce website has to be able to fill the traditional role of sales assistants. So just like any other e-commerce platforms, or websites or systems, your website should be able to do the same thing. For example, you should have a search engine that can generate the answers for your customers in order to keep your customers in line with your business. Now, I think that's it in setting up an e-commerce business. Now, let's go to the technology of e-commerce. So here are the list of the most important e-commerce technologies. First is EDI or electronic data interchange, barcodes, electronic mail or email, internet, World Wide Web, product data exchange, electronic forms. Now, let's discuss why these are important. So, EDI is important for the business because it enables the business to transfer data between their system quickly and accurately, eliminating the need for manual data entry and reducing errors. So, that's why it's important. It can help you reduce the errors in transferring a data. Now, next, barcodes encode product information into bars and alphanumeric characters. Now, this can make things much faster and easier to ring up items at a store or track inventory into a warehouse. Besides ease and speed, barcodes' major business benefits include accuracy, inventory, and control cost savings. Now, through barcodes, you are able to track your inventory efficiently without any other problem. That's why in e-commerce business, you have barcodes that can easily track your items. Next is electronic mail or email. So, electronic mail or email is important because it's a beneficial way to communicate with individuals or small groups or colleagues. It enables users to easily send and receive documents, images, and links, and other files. It also gives the user the flexibility to communicate with others on their own schedule. Now, through email, you can easily send or text to your emails. You can easily text or send to your colleagues. That's why it's important to have an email. Now, next is the internet. Internet has changed the way the consumers shop and interact with business, and having a strong online presence is essential for reaching new customers, building brand awareness, and driving sales. So through internet, you will be able to expand your social media presence, and you can do pretty much anything in the internet. That's why internet is important, especially in your e-commerce business. Now, next is the World Wide Web. So, World Wide Web enables online shopping and e-commerce transactions, allowing companies to reach a global customer base and streamline the buying process. Now, that's my part of my report. My colleague here will continue why product data exchange and electronic forms are needed in e-commerce business. That's it for me. Thank you for listening.
So today we talk about product exchange or PDX. What is product exchange? Product data exchange. It's a modern supply chain that enabling efficient and accurate sharing for product information between manufacturer and supplier, retailer, and other stakeholders. So this is a process involves standardizing and exchanging essential product data such as a product description, specification, image, and technical documentation across the various system and platform. Next is electronic form or e-form. Electronic form is also known as e-form, a digital version of traditional paper form. They allow the user to fill out or submit the process information electronically, eliminating the need the paper printing and manual data entry. Next is a hardware and software. So the hardware is components like server, router, and computers are essential to hosting an e-commerce website and managing online transaction and ensuring data security on the other hand. So e-commerce is a software including platform for building and managing online store payments, gateway for processing transaction, and analytics tools for the tracking sales and customer behavior. So next is e-commerce structure and services. So e-commerce structure is a backbone of any online store. Is the complex network and hardware, software, and service that work together to enable to business to sell product and service online. So imagine is the invisible machinery that powers every aspect of your online shopping experience, from browsing to product completing a purchase. Next is AA or Internet Explorer. It was a web browser that developer of Microsoft that was widely used in late 1990s and the early 2010s. It was an initial bundle with the Microsoft Windows operating system, making the default browser for the many users. So next is IIS. It's an Internet Information System. So it's a powerful and versatile tool that runs on Windows system to deliver web content to user across internet and intranet. So next is TCP and IP. So TCP is Transmission Control Protocol and the IP is Internet Protocol. So it's the foundation of the internet. It's a set of communication protocols that define how data is exchanged between device and network. TCP or Transmission Control Protocol is a wired connection between different machines to the internet. Example is a UTP cable. So ang IP is when it's a tribe shopper, it's a want to access a commerce shop is denote the IP address and the web server like URL like www.nameofshop.com. Determining technological feasibility. So determining the technological feasibility is important in e-business because in order to for us to avoid any problem on the way, we need to have a plan or for possible problems.
Good morning, everyone. Today we dive into the evolving landscape of commerce with a focus on electronic commerce versus traditional commerce, and we'll also explore the crucial role of directory services for e-commerce systems. I am Aira Cabrera, and let's get started. Electronic commerce versus traditional commerce. First off, let's compare electronic commerce or e-commerce with other forms of commerce. Traditional commerce relies heavily on physical presence and tangible transactions. Think of walking into a store, picking up an item, and making a purchase directly. In contrast, e-commerce leverages information and telecommunications technology to facilitate business processes in ways that were previously unimaginable. Consider this example. A manufacturer provides suppliers access to a database on electronic commerce networks. This setup involves both technology and business process. The technology aspect includes a secure database with reliable information, firewalls for security, and computers with network access. On the business process side, customers must commit to keeping data current and informing the suppliers of any changes, while suppliers agree to use the database as the primary source of information. Another example is interpersonal communication services. In a joint customer-supplier design, both parties use compatible computer-aided design systems and version control applications. This setup requires an agreement on joint design processes, adoption of compatible methods, and collaborative training. Shopping services online demonstrate another dimension. Sellers must maintain a current website capable of securing transactions, while buyers need web browsing capabilities and purchasing systems that can commit without paperwork. This seamless interaction between technology and business processes exemplifies the efficiency and reach of e-commerce. Lastly, the concept of a virtual enterprise integrates supply chains using EDI, MRP, and email for exemptions. This integration demands re-engineering of order entry and purchasing systems and dedicated staff to handle exceptions. It's a clear indication of how e-commerce transforms traditional business operations. And now, let's turn our attention to directory services for e-commerce systems. Directory services for e-commerce systems. Directory services are pivotal for managing network resources and user information in e-commerce systems. As enterprises began linking computers, the need for directory services became evident. These services help locate users, transmit information, and access parties' network resources. For instance, an email directory allows users to locate others for communication. Enterprises often maintain unified email directories or rely on public portals for broader searches. Similarly, LAN directories store user information to facilitate internet access, print sharing, and internet browsing. Common implementations include anti-domain directories and netware directory services. Developers benefit from directory services when accessing source code repositories. These tools store developer information, enabling seamless access to intellectual assets. Additionally, to access networks through firewalls, user must authenticate against a directory storing user profiles and access rights. A comprehensive directory services platform includes several components: a lookup database for storing user profiles and network resource information, lookup functionality for querying these resources, and security services to ensure access within defined limits. Security controls can range from simple password authentication to advanced public key cryptographic systems. E-commerce amplifies the need for directory services. For example, a secure application infrastructure based on public key cryptography requires a directory of relevant user certificates. Similarly, an extranet for B2B services uses directory services to manage security credentials. Directory services also facilitate internet network functions such as locating printers or accessing applications and various servers. However, the proliferation of directory services can lead to fragmented systems, requiring users to sign on multiple times and complicating access to enterprise applications. Enterprises must strategically manage directory services deployment to avoid these issues. Without a formal initiative, the problem will only worsen with the increasing number of applications and platforms. In conclusion, both e-commerce and directory services play critical roles in modern business operations. As e-commerce continues to evolve, the integration and management of directory services will be essential for efficient and secure business processes. Thank you for joining us today. I am Aira Cabrera, and we'll see you next time.
Okay, next we were going to discuss the centralization of directory services through meta-directories. In a commerce business, it is important to have unified way to locate network resources. This is what we call centralized directory services. So, centralized directory services provide users with a single sign-on solution because one-tap authentication services provides users with access to all authorized functions. A centralized directory also simplifies management of various functions. Example, definition, modification, and deletion of users and network resources. And now, centralized directory services would result in the appropriate ROI or not that depends upon various factors, which are the nature of enterprises, business process, for forecasted business growth, challenges that enterprises are facing with the current directory services infrastructure, nature of e-commerce application plan for the future, and various platforms installed, and the enterprises may drive the choice of strategic directory services platform. Certain directory services frameworks may be tied to specific platforms. Through central directory services, you can also implement meta services. Now, what's the purpose of meta services? You can effectively manage, modify, and search the information that is distributed among different directory and database systems. That's why it's considerable to also add meta system to your e-commerce business. There are a lot of meta directories provider you can find, but as an e-commerce business owner, you need to choose what's the best for your business. Now let's tackle what are the directory services requirements for e-commerce system. The primary function of a directory service are to enable the definition and lookup of users and network resources. Now there are 6 requirements for directory services. These are the scalability, LDAP support, architecture, robustness, performance, fault tolerance, and management issues. These are all required in directory services because the following directory services requirements in e-commerce ensures accurate business information, boosts visibility in search engines, and enhance customers' trust and satisfaction. And that's it for today. Thank you for listening and have a good day. I hope you learned something in handling in e-commerce business. If you need to ask something, don't hesitate. Do some research. That's all. Goodbye.